Right. So this is the sixth episode of Kinematic Conversations with my dear friend Tobias Rietzler here. So this is the founder and CEO of Robominds, and yeah, we had a little chat in German before that, before our recording session. And I said, what I would like to hear is, so where are you coming from? So what is your background? From professional, but from the personal side as well, and how was your first steps into the industry, and especially to founders, I'm always asking, so how came you up with the idea? How came you up with the braveness to actually found something and having the guts to become an entrepreneur? Because it's a very hard challenge. It's very rewarding in the very end, but throughout the journey, it's very hard. So yeah, I'm glad to have you here and would like to hear something about you.
Yeah, thanks, Ilya. Pleasure of being here. Thanks for the invitation. Yeah, how did I get here? Kind of a funny story. Actually, I myself I grew up in Thailand. Did my high school there. Got the Swiss Maturität there. And I still have quite the good connection to Thailand. And this is kind of also the starting point of my robotics journey. Of course, as a tech guy, robotics is always something interesting. And I did my as I said, I did my high school in Thailand and moved back to Munich. Did my studies here. Did my studies in electrical engineering. And during my master's, I went back to Thailand. And yeah, the network also started with the robotic stuff, and then yeah, we organized the UR Robot in Bangkok, and took a couple of weeks off, and started to exploring and prototyping and dipped our feet in the industry for the first time.
Was this
And
still during was this still during your studies?
yeah, this was during my studies. Some point in during some point in my master's, I can't exactly recall. Yeah, there we started exploring. This was when cobots weren't called cobots yet, but sort of not the real industrial heavy stuff anymore. You could just plug it into the socket and start playing around. So I guess this was also one of the big changes that happened during the last 10 years. And as many, I'm one of the guys that was enabled by the cobot in the end. I think this was
Which year? Sorry.
I think this is a paradigm shift that is often not understood correctly still to this day. What is a cobot and what does it do and what does it actually enable? I think the many are still struggling in the marketing bullshit bingo, and they still don't know what are the actual benefits of a cobot. And I see the usability aspect is a huge thing.
So we're doing a few steps here, and I hope you don't mind if I would like to go
No.
a little back, because I'm really curious. I'm very curious about this. So growing up in Thailand, this is not the very unique way of being for a German person, right? So maybe you can elaborate a little bit on that, and then let's jump back to the point being.
I mean, being in Thailand.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Great experience. I think I spent 6 years there, high school, grade 7 to 12, I think. Yeah, crazy times, fun times. you take a lot of intercultural experiences from that. You learn a lot about people at a young age, which is quite fascinating, I think. I think for myself, there's a tiny part of Asian culture in me as well. So
And then you said you went to Germany for studies. Was there a specific reason why you said, okay, I'm going back to Germany for the studies? Because there would have been the option to study in Thailand as well, right?
yeah, not really. I mean,
Mm.
quality of education in Thailand, especially in tech in the tech studies, wasn't there. I mean, Singapore was one of the universities that really was up to par with Western universities. There were a few, but Asia wasn't really an option for me anymore.
Mhm.
After a couple of years being a foreigner, it was also something I really I wanted to be at home again.
Mm.
Really uh, go back to the roots, and this is also being born in Bavaria was also something I really wanted to do, going sort of back to the roots.
Mm. Yeah, thanks for taking us back here. So you said during your studies, you there was a time that you went back to Thailand and actually started your first steps over there with cobots. And you said that there's still a misunderstanding. Yeah, no, there's still a big misunderstanding about cobots and robots. And so maybe you can elaborate on that. What is your perspective on that? I do have my own, so I'm very interested in yours.
Um, Yeah, I think the big part the big part cobots solved was usability. Not being not being an really trained expert and being able to solve things with robots. I think this was a and this includes various parts of it. Obviously, it's usability, but the real usability aspects, um, connectivity, programmability, and also the safety aspect of it. Not and being safe in lab environments as well, since many well, a lot of development and research just some starts in a lab somewhere, and
True.
that is the safety aspect is a big thing as well. And then obviously the step into the real industry and a real application is a different step. But as an enabler, I think the cobot movement is a great thing.
And you said that so this was your first steps within the robot industry, and you just mentioned a few of the things that really pushed robotics in, democratizing robotics, right? The accessibility and the price point is also something, right? So with a very tiny UR3, you can start. I mean, depends which option you get and which nowadays which company you got. But I mean, this is definitely much more accessible, especially for smaller and mid-sized companies versus, as you said, industrial robots.
Definitely a lot more accessible. And I'm a deep believer of robots being a big part of how we work and how we see work in the future. And this is something this is what drives the vision and the mission along the way. That robots, I'm certain, will enter many parts of our professional lives.
When we going back to your first steps and testing, and you said prototyping, so a lot of people, a lot of students start there, right? But only very few really are taking the next step to the next level and really saying, okay, my idea or my belief is good enough, or the knowledge of my market is good enough. I do see a need, I do see a problem to be solved. Maybe you can say something about making the step and making the decision to starting your own company, because this is something, I think a lot of people that are studying, and on LinkedIn I have a lot of people that are within their master's or PhD, and to encourage them and really say, okay, this is what drove me into this direction, and made the difference for me making this decision.
Yeah. So we founded Robominds in 2016. This was a time where as we talked before, the cobot stuff took off, and then other things came were progressing during that time, and there was one big part of this was AI. Convolutional neural networks were at that time capable of things that were not solvable before. So starting around 2012, 2013, there was a great wave of research and publication going on, and a couple of years later, we were able to develop products with this, prototypical products, of course, but this was the second big part. It was kind of tough. I mean, talking now today, now everyone is talking about AI and where it could be and where it should be. Back then, it was hard to find industrial components for this stuff. It was quite tricky, and we were sort of the first ones to do this. Maybe there are a few others, but we were definitely early adopters, bringing AI into the industrial space.
And what exactly was the key moment or the key time where you said, okay, we are doing here something that is very unique, and we think there's a market for it. Let's come together and let's build something. Let's build a company and trying to sell stuff.
This was a process. There wasn't the one moment that changed it forever. This was a process, and try to find out what works, and as soon as we had a brief setup on we had I think we drew a huge chart of software components that were necessary to enable smart robotics. It was massive. And we said, okay, now we know what we need, and now let's start this.
How many people have been at the start? So when you started Robominds?
We started with me and Andreas. We started as two of us.
So this is 2016, and now walk me through. So you said, okay, we see there's a need, and you said there was not one key moment, but progress nevertheless happened, right? So for a startup, it's very important to gain speed, to gain either investors or customers, right? So I see this very often because I am in the startup industry, and I see a lot of colleagues, I see a lot of people, and it seems very hard to find product market fit, and it seems very hard to not concentrating only on the building part versus really looking what is the actually need for the at the customer side. So where do I can actually sell something?
Yeah, we had typical startup approach, I would say. We started relatively lean, so not driving costs, just not drive up costs, explore and find the application, find the market, find the first product fit, whatever it is. Find whatever works first, and then explore from there. It was not the get a PowerPoint first and go get some funds. We sat down, hardworking, great team of people, and try to get out the best piece of the first product we could.
What was the first product that you had?
It was the first stage of the RoboBrain, and with a camera for perception, and first control system running on it, and the first skills running on it. So quite simple in its feature set. It had LEDs, of course. And actually the first version of it is now at the Deutsches Museum here in Munich. We donated them the first version of it, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, that is definitely cool. And so, what was the first application that you solved? So, what was the first problem that you attacked?
Rough picking application. It was an unknown picking of unknown objects. It was for item picking in industrial parts. Performance-wise, limited to its technology back then, but it was really advanced for what you see now. It was really good.
So this is still 2016, or are we now a little bit into the life of Robominds? So we're talking 17, 18?
Should be around 17, yeah.
I mean, the next time I'm in Munich and I can get some time off, I will definitely have a look at the museum. I think it's pretty cool, and especially because this is one of my favorite tech museums. So I'm working at Micropsy, and our office is actually here in Berlin, right opposite of the German Tech Museum. So whenever you're in Berlin and you would like to join either the Tech Museum or our office, please feel free to join.
Yeah, let's take a tour.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, they have a little restaurant or bistro within the museum. So every now and then, we either with clients or on our own, we go there and have lunch. They have a good currywurst. But back to business, you said like bin picking was one of the first things that you actually, or picking was one of the first things that you guys solved. It's still very complicated. I just had been invited to Vision webinar last week with UR in Singapore, actually, and there were Cognex and SICK. They were showing their systems. So bin picking is still very, very hard for robots. And so what was your approach? How was your system different? And how were your first customer interactions? Can you remember?
Yeah. First customer interactions was get the product in a box, put it in the car and drive around and see what people think about it.
Nice.
It was quite hard making people interested about AI, and make them, let alone make them understand about it. It was really, it was something new, and this was this was really educating on what is AI, how can I use it, what does it actually do, what does it do different, and this was tough. This was tough getting starting really from the zero knowledge tech perspective. I mean, typical tech product life cycle, right? And nobody knows about the technology at first, and nobody knew about the technology at first. So he really needed to work on education at the first point. So a lot of PowerPoint slides on what does AI do, what is it actually, and how can you use it with our product, was quite a journey.
I mean, cold calling and door knocking is one topic, right? So from a sales perspective, but marketing wise, I mean, nowadays AI is the topic or the hype last year, especially, and this year as well. So I think almost every single startup that you see has AI within their name or on their agenda. So being one of the first ones, most likely was like Alien. We're doing stuff no one knows what we actually do. I think I can understand that because I do a lot of talking with the customer, and expectation management is a big topic. So people sometimes, okay, there is AI involved, so everything will be solved on their own, which is not the case. People and humans are still involved, and there's still work needs to be done, and not every single problem doesn't matter. You were mentioning the AI. Bullshit bingo. Not everything can be solved, so let's focus on the things that we can actually solve.
Yeah, and this is expectation management is an important part, and we ourselves did a lot of mistakes on that end, because we were certain that this we have the technology that changes everything. Now a couple of years later, we do know that it doesn't solve everything, but given you have a great technology, you found a great application, and you know the customer, and you know how the journey looks like, you can solve a lot of complex tasks, and you can solve them efficiently, and you are able to automate tasks that were not we weren't able to automate before.
You said something that we are not very similar, but we do some things, and I do know that our marketing at Micropsy is always so. Robominds doing a pretty good job when it comes to these kind of things, to actually show the work that they're doing with the customers. So showing real use cases, showing real applications, and it's very hard because a lot of customers they would like to do something, but they don't know what they want to do, right? So in my work, it's always important to really talk with the customers and trying to understand what is the problem and helping them articulate that problem, because sometimes they have an idea, but they don't know what to do. And you said customer journey is another big topic, deployment, because having a product is one thing, having a problem is another thing, but then bringing the product to solving the problem. So the actually deployment on site, right? As you said, it's very hard, very complicated. There's a lot of variables involved. Where does this machine stand? What kind of machine is it? What kind of product is it? Is a conveyor belt involved? You said security or safety is a big topic. So deployment is a very, very, very hard thing to do. You need an integrator. Are you doing the integration yourself? Is a company doing the integration? So maybe you can tell us a little bit about those challenges and how you attack them over the time. I mean, I mentioned now a few topics, just pick a few of them.
Yeah, I think this is the complexity in robotics in general. You have a lot of structures. You have a lot of expectation on grown structures that exist, on the supplier side, on the consumer side, on the integrator side. There it's quite complex, and Yeah, you need to find your way. There's no. I guess this is where there's no right and wrong, right? We did change this quite a bit. I think this is also something. Integration is sort of a dirty word in the industry. I see this as quite the benefit if you can do it, and if you can do it efficiently and with with costs and customer demands and expectations under control. We did for quite a while. We didn't do integration. We still have a great network of partners, but it's a lot since it has so many layers that you need to solve and that are needed. It's more about the network and how you tackle things. It's not really about will you do this, yes or no. So it's not a binary decision. Will you ever do this? It really depends. I think you should have the capabilities to do it. It doesn't mean that it makes sense to do it every time, because robotics and automation has a lot of layers. It needs many pieces of competence to solve these things well. And you should have a great network of partners you really know and what their strengths are. That makes you efficient, especially in the European market.
So we do have an American entity, and we do see there's a lot of differences between the American market and the German or the European market. You were just mentioning that integration is kind of a dirty word. Can you say a little bit about this?
Yeah, the perspective is always on if you have the component perspective. I am selling a component. The math is always quite simple, maybe too simple. If I have 10 integrators that use my product, I sell 10 products. If I have 20, I sell 20. And from time to time, if I educate them well and they really like me and they know my product, then it will increase over time. So this is, and then they get hunted. And then you get you will be on your way hunting for integrators and partners, and you forget about their actual business and what are you bringing to the table. And this is really important in every kind of relationship. What do you need and that I can deliver, and what do I need that you can deliver? And this is something that we are often forgetting in these businesses. And I see a lot of, and of course, coming to the integration part. Integration is not as scalable as selling products, of course. It needs a lot of hands. It needs a lot of time. And this makes it a lot less scalable, if even scalable at all. From that perspective, but what you can leverage is ease of use, and this is what the cobot space has done quite well. Ease of use is quite the big leverage on the integration part.
Thanks for giving some insight. So if you would have the option to talk to the Tobias of 2018, so to speak, what advice would you give yourself? Or not only to you two, but to other entrepreneurs that are starting within the robotics or AI niche or industry? Yeah, what advice would you give to them?
Find what works and do more of this. It's quite, I think it's quite easy. You're always really attracted on new things, the nicer things, or if you're a tech guy, the complex and unsolved things. Find what works and then do more of this, and you find the next thing that follows.
What I see is a lot that, especially in tech startups, because we have then engineers or scientists starting maybe as a spin-off or maybe on an idea on their own, starting their journey in being an entrepreneur. I see very often that marketing and sales is getting neglected because it's not their main area of expertise. And because, as you said, in the very early days, you're always very small teams. So it doesn't come to your mind to hire someone taking care of marketing, right? It doesn't come to your mind hiring someone who's actually selling the product. So I see very often that this is about product and product development. As you said, you do need a good product that solves actually a problem. But very often I see that for too long, this marketing and sales part gets neglected, which is actually necessary for you to sell the business, right? You said the word network or partners. So this can be an element of it, but I see that a lot of, I mean, nowadays, especially through social media, it gets easier and people are more aware of this. But in my work, I see very often, or have seen in the past, that this part, because they're not very good at it, and because they don't have the perspective, like the point of view of a sales guy or of a marketing guy, and they think, okay, I have a very great product. It is so great. So word of mouth will help me to solve this, right? And to sell it. But actually, there's much more to it, right? Can you say something about this?
I think marketing is I mean, I'm talking from the tech guy perspective, right? Marketing is often misunderstood, and if you never try it, you will never find out what it actually does. And this is what happens in, let's say, what our Mittelstand always does, right? They never had marketing, they never needed it. They won't get a marketing department now. As long as you don't find out what it actually does, you will be fine without it. But there will be some consequences in perception. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this is the reason why I'm asking you, right? Because I know you're a tech guy, so I know the main focus for you is on the product and how well the product works. But so this is the reason why I'm asking, how is your experience over the last 5, 6 years? So you got in contact with customers, but I mean, you guys do marketing, right? And you do it pretty well. So this is my perception, and this is the reason why I'm asking. So when was the moment, or how did you came? Maybe it has not been a moment, more of a process. So how did you guys came up with the or identifying that sales and marketing is maybe something that you actually need?
Yeah, we started with a marketing department, with a great marketing department. They're doing a hell of a job. It's in our field, it's quite easy. We do interesting stuff. We have robots that are doing something interesting. So LinkedIn is craving robot content. So this made it super easy for us identifying LinkedIn as one of the core marketing tools at the beginning. And it worked really well, and then laid out a strategy for it, and drove it from there. Was really it's super simple to create content in the robotic space. Others promote grippers. There might be cool products, but it's super hard to make great content about them.
But we are speaking now. Now you're speaking about something where you are in the journey already, right? So I do know, and this is maybe an insight from Micropsy. I do know that the sales guys were saying, guys, we do need, and this is a few years back, right? We do need demos. We do need a robot or cobot that we can actually go to the customer with and actually show him, right? So as we are a deep tech company in the very early beginning, there was not was no big understanding about, okay, actually we do need sales and we do need a marketing department, right? We do need to do much more in marketing. So this is the reason why, and you said you hired someone for marketing, but there must have been a time in I don't know, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, where you guys didn't have a marketing department, right? But then you made the decision, I think it might be a good idea to have a marketing department. So this is the point where I'm curious at.
Okay, yeah, I mean this is quite easy. Ask people that are smarter than you, that have done this.
Okay. Yeah, and listen to them.
Listen to them. Ask them why. Then people that have done this at least one or multiple times will tell you will tell you will tell you what to do, and you should listen to them. There are a lot of people that are a lot smarter than you. Listen to them. You will find out a lot.
So I think this is a motto. This is applicable to every single person out there. So don't try to be the smartest one, trying to understand who is the smartest and then trying to work together with them. How many people are you at Robominds at the moment?
Around 25 to 30.
So still relatively small, but agile. And so your main market is Germany?
Yeah, main market is Germany and a few around Europe. So European market is in general one of the European market, and is our main.
One of the questions in the webinar, and this was towards our company, was the question came up from people in the industry. So how is the support working? And you just mentioned you do need to have a good partner network. You do need to have a good network. So this is something I think gets neglected also, right? Because you're always thinking about how everything works well and it needs to, but this is just one part of it, right? The other part is things are not always working very well, and there's something that can happen that you never thought of. And I think that, for at least in my experience, this was something that was out of my focus. I really not, and now that I'm customer success in that area, I do see, oh no, this is very important, and you should not neglect it, and you should not make having an intern or so. This is something that really needs your focus. How is your experience there?
Very important. Very important. Can be very time consuming as well. But this is the only direct channel you always have to the people using your product. So it's one of the most important ones. And if something bad happens, the customer is unhappy with the results or your product or the situation in general, and it's super important to find out what the actual issue is. If this is something on your end, if this is something else going on, and it's super important to get insight actual real life hard insights into what are the problems of your product. And secondly, it's the part you can, with great problem solving, you can, it makes great relationships. If you really care about the customer, if you solve the customer's problem well, and you have direct communication and do your best to solve it, you will have a great relationship with the customer.
Are you still very close with the customer, or as a CEO and founder, are you not detached, but maybe are you still having a lot of customer contact?
Yes.
And do you think this is very crucial? Because I do know a lot of a lot of founders that are coming from that have an engineering background are really like focusing on the product and really like to focus on the problem solving part. And very often they get further away from the customer. So how is your experience here?
This happens from time to time, but you can't build a great product when you're far away from the customer. So this happens from time to time, yes. But I always try to detect the situation and do something about it.
So you don't need to have someone who reminds you or a customer that reaches out to you. You proactively think, okay, maybe it's a good time again to get away from product development and reach out to the customer and go on site, see what is their actually problem, what they're dealing with, how is our product being used.
Yeah, I try to do this actively, either following a project or really actively checking what does the customer think about the product and what are the problems.
And do you would like to say maybe a few sentences about what you have in mind for Robominds? Maybe not only this year, because the year is still very young, but so what is the people always speaking about vision? I like connecting vision with like operations or deployment, like so bringing the vision on the street. So this is always something that is interesting me, but very few people have very big visions. Maybe you do have one.
For us, it's important to get to drive the application portfolio further, to really get on the full scale solution building, really show what we are doing, what our technology is capable of, and drive product development from these solutions. I don't want to get into a lot of detail on what we're doing at this end, but you will see it at some point.
I mean, this is now the future, and maybe I was a little bit too fast on that one. So you were talking about one of the first applications that you guys solved was picking. Do you would like to say a bit about what you guys are actually doing today? So when I go to your website, what customers can actually expect from you and what Robominds is solving? I mean, just as people get a better idea what you guys are doing.
Yeah. So we are delivering intelligence to robots, AI to robots. We call them skills, and we deliver the platform to run these skills on. The platform is called the RoboBrain. So we deliver the eyes, the brain, and the intelligence for the robot, and this enables the robot to perform certain tasks. This is often used in pick and place, material handling applications, palletizing, item picking, sorting stuff, things like this. So most of the applications are somewhere around the warehouse. So e-commerce warehouse, production warehouse stuff like this. Or we have a dedicated skill set for medical applications. It's about sorting tubes, sample tubes, with it's a container with various kinds of body liquids.
Yeah, this is a very harsh environment because the requirements are very, very high there. So
yeah, it's a tough environment as well, highly labor intensive, big problem coming in the future. Sample tests and therefore samples rising each day. People that can do the labor decreasing each year. So this will become a huge problem for us over the next couple of years.
Yes, I'm very happy that you took the time, and thanks for giving not only an overview about what you guys are doing now, but what you guys are working on. You said this was a little bit of teasing. There's more to come. So yeah, you guys are very active on LinkedIn. So I'm looking forward to see, as you said, interesting content about robots. And yeah, I'm very happy that you took the time and told us a little bit about your journey and about Robominds.
Yeah, thanks for the opportunity. Thanks for having me.
And as we agreed on, the next time I will be in Munich, we go together to the museum. And the next time you're in Berlin, we go to the German Technik Museum in there.
So this is a public promise.
Definitely. I mean, why wouldn't I not eat a currywurst? And so I'm very happy to have you as a guest in Berlin. Like I said, we have a very nice office, and you're always welcomed. And we see each other at least once a year on the Automatica Munich. So I guess this will be the fixed point where we definitely will see each other.
Yeah, it will. It will. However, the next Automatica will be next year. So
True.
we should have a proper alternative ready for this.
Okay. We will see at the exhibition schedule, and then we'll find a proper venue for us. Thanks for taking the time, Tobias.
Sounds great. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.